Hey everyone, it's Rafael Renteria, co-founder, co-owner, and president at Dartfrog 3D. So I'm digging through old YouTube video scripts and concepts. Some I wrote 2+ years ago, and I just feel like I should get them out there. For this video, I'm revisiting a project called How to Sell When You're Bad at It and You Don't Like Selling. This was in year 1 of starting my virtual tour business. I found my old door-to-door sales script, and I wanted to share that experience with you. I'm also going to include some clips that I recorded during that time to document that part of my journey. Also, Peep the Shirt, Ultraviolet Communication, great contemporary rock band with an old school sound. Check them out. And without further ado, let's do this thing. So to give some background, I wrote this in preparation for a couple weekends that I planned on going door to door trying to sell my 360 Google virtual tours to gyms. I'm pretty sure I have another version of the script somewhere because I don't remember it being this bad, but maybe it was. So basically, I would just walk into a gym, somebody at the desk would ask, "Can I help you?" or something like that, and then the conversation began. I'm just going to read off this Word doc here that I did memorize at one point. So I walk in, they ask, "Oh, can I help you with something?" "Hi, yeah, so I was in the area getting some shopping done, and I want to check this place out. How long you guys been around?" And they talk back, whatever. And, "Oh, actually, I do have a quick question for you. So I have a business that I run from my home outside of Forest, which is a local town. And I do Google virtual tours for businesses, but my main thing is gyms. And I just wanted to drop off my business card and wanted to ask, have you seen those in action, or have you considered getting one for this place?" Then I would pull up the gym tour that I did on my phone of a gym that I did like that earlier that summer, hand my phone to them, let them run through it, and then continue talking while they're doing that. And normally they will say like, "Oh, like I haven't heard about it, blah." And then I start off with, "Yeah, and I'm really trying to push this because people don't know that much about it. Like I did a tour for my gym over in Upper, and the next day people are asking the owner how he got the photos to do that and how he got the virtual tour, and just in general how cool it was. It amazed me. Like everyone thought these guys were like Microsoft just because of this thing that's going to be the minimum in a couple of years." I was right. And I'm also trying to help out because anybody can buy the cameras and the software. It's not cheap, but you can. But not everyone can put a virtual tour on Google because you have to be a Google Trusted Pro. All right, so I don't want anything signed in blood right now, but I would like to get a more developed presentation in front of you or someone in the near future. I would just want about 10 minutes of your time, and we could go from there. Does that sound like something we could do? Now, granted, this was no sales experience. I don't think I even had a sales class yet. So you throw that in front of any sales guy, they're probably going to rip it apart. Now, while I had those parts memorized, door-to-door sales usually don't go as planned, even if you try to anticipate everything. So you have to be ready for side conversations when they ask about things that you didn't write directly in your script. But if you know your product and your service, that really shouldn't be a problem. Now, out of the gyms that I visited, there were 2 that made a difference in my career. One, I ended up actually getting a contract that I was in competition for a year later. And the other, I learned a really helpful tip after I messed up. Here's a video that I took after I got out of that first gym.
Holy, I have never been more shaky and like sweaty right now in my entire life. I just did like my mini sales pitch, like the introductory one to the owner of Iron Fit. I mean, I just wrote the damn thing 2 days ago, and I paused for a little bit because I forgot it for a second, but I got the rest of it out, and he's interested, so go me!
So I mentioned that I paused and I forgot my pitch for a second. This was actually one of the best things to happen to me because it taught me this really valuable technique for memorizing a sales pitch. The day before all that, I was able to recite the pitch from memory almost perfectly without any issues. Even in the hour before I drove to Iron Fit, while I was driving to Iron Fit, I could do it perfectly, word for word. And granted, I was extremely nervous walking in there, but the nervousness wasn't what made me forget my pitch. It was actually the gym music, because there was a really good Five Finger Death Punch song. Love those guys. and I knew it really well, so it wasn't like I could ignore the song. My brain just kind of switched its attention right in the middle of it. So after I got home, I thought, does music affect my ability to recite a memorized script? And it did, because I went in my room, turned on some rock music, and then I tried to recite the pitch from memory. Whole new ball game. So I memorized it with music and without, and then the next weekend I was good to go. Nothing could distract me. So tip number 1, if you have a door-to-door sales pitch that you can't have your script in front of you, memorize it, and then memorize it with and without distracting music. It helps a ton. I still haven't heard back from those guys, but I got a great lesson out of it, so oh well. And I got other projects to do, so it's all good. So here's a clip of my recap after that day.
Okay, December 18th, 9:08 p.m. Still in my room, still in Ohio, and yesterday was not a very good day. I was just not in a good place, but today actually went really well. So today I made it a point to go to Iron Fit in Kenton, and like I said, my previous one, I really just need to focus on just like raw sales, like actually getting money flowing through the door. So I decided to do that, and turns out that the Iron Fit guys. So so I started out with my little mini pitch. That's not really a pitch. It's just trying to pique their interest, and like the ask at the end is like, I just want to get you more information about the virtual tours and stuff. And turns out that they were actually looking into it because they're going to be open 24-hour facility, and they're not really in a good spot. Their location is not in a good spot. It's kind of in the back of Mill, but nowhere. Iron Fit in Kenton. Maybe it's still around by the time this video is up, or wherever the heck I'm seeing it. But yeah, so it turns out that they're interested. I gave them my business card. I was kind of shaky and I f***ed up a little bit, but I don't know. Got a little flustered. I paused for a little bit, but it wasn't anything too bad. But tomorrow I'm going to go to Findlay and visit a couple gyms there. There are a few that I think might work out well. So we'll see how it goes. So that's about it for that.
Now, the next day I pitched to an Anytime Fitness, and that actually went really well. So basically, it was the same pitch there. We talked about gym stuff too. We talked about where he was from and everything. Again, I messed up the pitch a little bit, but it was a great interaction overall, and I was really excited. This is a video that I took after that.
All right, so update. I did the Anytime. I just kind of did like my pitch for Anytime Fitness, and I messed up a little bit because I kind of drew a blank for a little bit, but it was like in the middle of. It wasn't in the middle like last time, so it didn't really look too weird. And so it actually turns out that corporate just got done talking to them about they need a virtual tour. So he's like thinking about it, and he's like new owner and everything, so open-minded, and he's young, so he understands like the ranking on Google and man. Oh, all right, I just got a few more gyms to go to, and here we go, baby. Woo!
So please excuse the cringe. I was really hyped, and I hadn't even made a sale at that point yet, and that was like the closest thing that I had to one. So even though it went really well in 2018, there was no real exchange with Anytime Fitness until late 2019, early 2020. I later saw that they were moving locations, still Findlay, but they were getting a new building. So I reconnected with the owner when I saw that they had the new place all set up, and it turned out that he was actually looking into it again, and he wanted to contact me, but he lost my business card in the move. So they looked on the Google Trusted Registry, found me again, and then it was between me and some photographer in Cleveland. He explained that they couldn't do the virtual tour in 2018, or they didn't want to because they were going to be moving within the year, so it would have been a waste of money to do that, so I completely understood. That's completely right. Now, there were a couple of reasons why I beat out the other guy for that job. It wasn't like a shoe-in. So part of the reason was just I got there first. The owner had met me previously. At that point, I had some more work under my belt. So at that time, there was further proof that I could do the job. Also, I was local, so I could take care of whatever they needed faster than the Cleveland guy, and I made sure to communicate that part to them. Local, in this kind of business, local is definitely a strength. And I just offered more value in general. The Cleveland guy was just going to shoot a 360 tour for their Google listing, but I pretty much communicated that I could get him a 3D and 360 Google Street View for the same price that he'd be charging him. That job turned out to be a bigger headache than I anticipated, and it was a lot of 1 to 5 a.m. shoots, but we did it. We got it done. So tip 2, just be patient. Especially in the B2B sales cycle, they can be pretty long, and sometimes it's just a waiting game. And some things are out of your control, like them moving and how long that would take for them to move. And no amount of let's reconnect or hey, just checking in emails would have gotten me that job any sooner. And if I went overkill, maybe they wouldn't have even considered me when they really needed the tour because, this guy is just harassing us basically. I just waited for the right time, and I ended up getting the job. I still had to really sell it. Like, it didn't just fall in my lap, like I said earlier. That Cleveland guy was really close to beating me to it, so you got to stay sharp. And tip number 3 kind of goes without saying, but sometimes you have to remind yourself, be calm. Take some deep breaths, and if you truly believe in what you're selling, you'll be fine. Usually when people say, I hate selling, it's typically because they've never sold anything that they truly believe in, or they've just never sold anything, period. This is about the only thing I've ever sold, so to me it just feels like I'm giving them a real solution. And also, like, if I had a gym, this is something that I would buy for mine. Like, I think it's a necessity from any way you look at it. And I don't know if I've ever gone into detail on this on my channel, but like, I started this company for selfish reasons. I started the company to solve a problem that I had. I just wanted to pick a gym without leaving my house. It was only after I looked into how that could actually get done and how virtual tours are made that I started thinking about if I could turn it into a business. And a couple years later, I'm doing this pretty much full time, so it worked out. Still have a long way to go. Still got rent and software bills, but we're getting through it. And tip number 4, don't give up. You're going to be tired, but it'll pay off. I think that one day in Findlay, I visited 12 gyms in the one day, and 2 years later, I only got one of those as an actual client. I was really dead after that day, and here's a video clip that I took afterwards. Again, I just wanted to document that part.
Alright, so other than the videos that I took in the car, overview of today. So obviously my energy's not as high as it was earlier just because it's getting late, it's dark out, but anyway. So today's this, like, I guess I'll call them sales calls or sales pit. I don't know what to call them, but I'll just call them sales calls. So the couple sales calls today, I think I went through 12 people. I think like two of them didn't exist anymore. One person wasn't there, but I dropped off my business card with a little note on it saying like, hey, like nobody was here, but I like discussed like what I can do for you. I left that, just wrote that on the back of it in pen. But I had 3 people today be really interested, and the one guy and a few of the people who were really interested didn't really understand it. Well, no, hold on. I think I had 2 people that were really, really excited for it, really interested in it, and then the one person Planet Fitness in Findlay, Ohio, wasn't that. I just talked to a manager. Her regional manager was there, which is who I probably should have talked to, but he was in a meeting, so that's that. But I'm really excited because even just if you include Iron Fit and Kenton, those 4 people, I mean, and some of the gyms in there are pretty big. So, I mean, and on a conservative estimate of, say, $500 per project, that's $2,000 right there, which I think I'll definitely make more than that just because because of how big these places are.
So, yeah, come a long way since then. It's always cool to see where you came from, so if you maybe recap your sales calls and stuff like that, it's kind of fun to look back. And so if there's anything that you've encountered that's helped you learn while selling virtual tours, let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear about your experiences. Also, I have another video concept that I'm going to do soon that has to do with virtual tour sales. It was actually the first sale I ever made using cold calling when I called a car dealership, and the script I used, I based it off of Jordan Belfort's stuff. So that was really fun. And that was after that. That was when I decided that I was going to go really hard on this stuff, because at that point I believed in myself. I could kind of prove that I could do it. And if there's anything else that you guys want to see, go ahead, throw it in the comments below, and I'll try to help out as much as I can. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this. Have an amazing day. This is Rafael Renteria, signing off.